Welcome to the Strong as Fuck podcast. I'm your host, Kenny Santucci, and join us for some strong conversations. Welcome back to episode 3 of the Strong as Fuck podcast. I'm your host, Kenny Santucci, and today I have nothing short but an incredible, I'm sorry to use the word short, nothing short of an incredible guest. He's one of the most notorious people on social media, if not the most notorious. Influencers around the world fear his name. And when you see him in your DMs, well, you must have fucked up somewhere. Ladies and gentlemen, you guys know him as the Goob, but I call him John Dorsey. John Dorsey, what are we doing here, pal?
God, I hate you.
What a great intro, huh? That was incredible.
Thanks for having me today, Kenny. Thank you.
So back when I met John, last March, we're at the Arnold, and I said, I know this fucking guy. Where do I know him from? And at the time, he had about 30,000, maybe 40,000 social media following, 30,000 people following. Now he's at 600,000.
Well, mine are all fake, so it's still 30,000. It's just 570 fake ones.
But over the past year, you have literally became a marketing machine. And was this a plan, or was this just something, a passion project that has just exploded? Come on, give us the...
If you ever just don't give a shit and this keeps going, you're like, well, this is easy.
Dude, but you're undefeated against
1,800-0.
Yeah. Against people on social media. It's incredible. You've gone after everybody from Cardi B to, the most lonely loser somewhere in the Midwest somewhere.
It's sad. I forget, because all the time I'll get DMs of hey, you did that video on, somebody sent me, the name was Duru Billemeyer. And I was like, who the fuck is that? And they're like, no, you did a video. And I was like, I don't think so. A couple hours go by and they send me the video. And I was like, I guess I did.
So you've done 1,800 people.
Something like that.
Holy shit.
Like that.
Well, listen, you pump out content. But this wasn't something you planned on doing. How'd this all start?
Do you know who Boston Lloyd was?
No.
He was a notorious Instagram bodybuilding guy that would call out bullshit.
Okay.
And he dies a month before I started doing my videos.
Get the fuck out, really?
And I remember I woke up and I was like, who the fuck is going to keep doing this shit? Everybody's going to get away with it. And so I did my first video on a girl that was photoshopping her shit. And it did pretty good. And then there was a couple people that I knew in the industry that fucked around, coaches and shit.
Yeah.
And I did a few of them and I was like, damn, I guess I got to keep going now. Who else is
But you're really on a crusade. I remember when we first started doing that, and I started watching your videos before I knew who the hell you were. I was like, God, man, this guy's fucking crushing people. You're relentless. And I think one of the most important things is that people don't realize how smart you are and how your mind is like a steel trap. You don't forget shit.
I just, I don't know. Everybody, once you figure out how your brain works, it's a lot easier to function in this world.
Yeah.
I'm a dysfunctional person. I can't, if you tell me something, I will never fucking remember it. I don't know where I'm supposed to be. Even coming here, it's my girlfriend, I'm like, hey, Katie, where, what time? I even called you guys earlier. I was like, it's today, right?
At 2 in the afternoon when you're just rolling out of bed.
Yeah. But if I read something, I will never forget it. And so I have
it's like a gift, you know that, right?
Well, no, everybody has that. It's just you just have to figure out how to work it.
Yeah.
I'm an attorney, technically. I have a law degree, and the only way I could ever get through law school was if I read it and then I just archived it somewhere and I made a note of it and I could call upon that later.
See, when I meet people who don't know you and they're like, "Oh my God," I'm sure there's plenty of people out there who love to kill you because of the shit you've done.
Tons.
But there are so many people who love you. Like I told you, I was at that event a couple weeks ago, and all these guys are like, "Oh my God, I love him." They're like, but what's his deal? Most people don't know that you went to law school.
Yeah, well, you're not supposed to lead with that stuff when you're trolling people online. It's just better if they fall into it.
Yeah.
They're like, who's this fucking idiot?
Yeah.
And then they start beefing with you, and then they're in there with you, and they just figure it out that you probably know a little more than they do, and it sucks.
So you have so much content up there, and there are obviously people who watch every story that you put up. But who are some of the biggest? God rest his soul, but someone had, tell us the whole story with the pedophile and the guy who killed himself over it.
Oh my god. Yeah, when you say biggest, like I never think of big names.
No, like not even the
I
biggest
always
name,
think
but
of
it was
like
like
the worst people.
yeah, but like what was like the biggest story? Because I feel like that one, like I remember when you told me that, I was like, holy shit, like that's pretty.
So I did a guy who was caught in like a underage kid sting online.
Yeah.
And called him out, did a video on it, posted up his like workplace and shit, you know, the usual for if you're a fucking pedophile.
Yeah.
And like 2 hours go by and I get a call from the daycare that he worked at. Works at a daycare, by the way. An adult works at a daycare. Sending these fucking creepy DMs back and forth to a kid.
And you would think they'd do some sort of background check on these people, right?
But how would you know? How would you know? You know what I mean? For me, a man working at a daycare, a little bit of a red flag.
I said the same thing.
I have no interest in working at a daycare. Maybe I'm a bad person for saying that, but I just really don't think that men should work at daycares. I don't know, man.
I
don't care.
I have 8 nieces and nephews, and my sister came home one day and we were bullshitting, and she's like, "Oh yeah, one of the girls and all my nieces and stuff are under the age of 6 years old." He's like, "Oh yeah, one of the teachers is a guy," and I'm like, "Why is a grown man like a kindergarten?"
I can't remember
teacher?
growing up having like until I was in like 3rd or 4th grade.
Yeah, I think it's
Any
weird.
of the teachers being men.
More power to him, but like I just think it's a little weird. It's just
A daycare
out of the
is
social
strange.
norm.
A daycare is strange.
Strange
To be a man.
to have
working.
a guy there.
Nonetheless, it was this guy's dream job, apparently. His
Yeah,
dream
I
job.
bet.
It was posted. He had posted. So my dream job working here. And I posted up and like 2 hours go by and the daycare calls me and they're like, "Hey, do you think you could take the video down?" And I'm like, "No, I don't take any fucking videos down." And they're like, "Well, he jumped off a bridge like 30 minutes ago." I was like, "No, he fucking didn't jump off a bridge." Long story short, I find, what
Did you
bridge
call
was
the
it?
bridge
I
police?
call the bridge police and they
Yeah.
confirm. You know, I called like, "Oh, I'm investigating this story." Yeah. And they get back to me like, "Yeah, somebody jumped at, 5 whatever today." I was like, "Damn." So I did take the video down. It's one of the, I don't know, 2 videos I've taken down the entire time I've been doing it.
But you've had some wars with some other social media people.
Yeah.
Like as of recently, the guy who jumped in the wrestling match hit the other guy.
Oh, Russell Brunson.
Yeah, but
He's a shit.
no, but didn't the guy, one of his friends, jump in? Who's actually a pretty big name? Like he's got like
Sean Whalen.
yes,
Sean Whalen.
who's got like a clothing line or something.
Yeah. He I don't know. It's funny because it's like the only people that will volunteer themselves, usually they're like one Google away from like, now it's your ass. And so this guy like
And
makes
it
this
is-
whole video. He's
yeah.
in the car smoking a cigar. He's like, the context we're talking about right here is Russell Brunson is at his 14-year-old son's wrestling match. And he thinks his son is getting choked out. It's a legal move that's happening. He jumps on the mat and starts hitting the other kid until he lets his son go, which is just like some weirdo shit, bro. Like, what's wrong with you?
That's the craziest shit. I know, just being in the mixed martial arts wrestling world, like everybody's like, dude, you never do that.
Yeah, like what's wrong with you, bro? And
Ever.
so I
Especially
do
with kids.
and a local news article covers it. They don't put his name in the headline, and they just sort of like, they say like, he jumps on the mat. Like, they didn't say like, grown man beats kid, that type of shit. And so I called it out and I was like, what the fuck is this? Like, more eyes need to be on this. And his boy Sean Whalen comes at me and he has this video. He's smoking a cigar in his like AMG Mercedes. He's like, "My man went to war. When you're in war, in the fog of war." It was like the cringiest fucking shit ever. I was like, "Dude, you're such a fucking loser." I Google this guy. I'm like, "Who the fuck is he?" Here it comes up in 2020 or 2022, somewhere in the last 4 years. He is selling this like, have you ever seen the Latch On to America type of shit where they're like, "Made in America, stars and stripes, buy our shit." Like, why are we buying the shit? Because there's a fucking flag on it. Like that type of shit. That's what he sells. And here they were relabeling.
I figure you'd be into it. You're from West Virginia.
Fuck that shit. They were taking made in China shit, cutting the tags off, and putting a made in USA label on it.
Oh shit.
And they got dinged to the tune of $200,000, and
No
they got
way.
fined, like actually fined.
That's a
The
big
Federal
felony.
Trade Commission
Yeah.
created a huge case against him, and so I did a video and I pulled all the from the case, all the evidence that the FTC had on him, and I was like, look at this, and it's funny because they're saying like 100% American made, and it's
Yeah.
like, yo, you're a liar. Like, shit said made in China when you got it out of the fuck, like some child chained to a desk made this shit. Like, stop playing. Like, stop playing with me, Sean Whalen. And I did that video, and then he didn't want to participate anymore.
But you don't find all this shit yourself, right? Don't people send you a lot of this information? Like, that's where you're getting most of your information.
To some degree. I mean, every once in a while, somebody will send me something cool.
Yeah.
Like, but it's usually like Photoshop stuff. Like, they're really like digging people out. It's like usually.
And it's always like an ex-girlfriend or ex-boyfriend.
Yeah. Because think about it. It's like everybody knows something.
Yeah.
Like everybody. There was one the other day. This girl was chirping at me. She sent me like 40 DMs, like 10 o'clock at night. She's like talking about my girlfriend, like all this crazy shit, like just shit talking. I'm like, who the fuck is this woman? So I go to her profile and I screenshot a couple. And it's like, you ever see those like questionable photo shoots where you're like, what is this an ad for? Like, this looks a little odd.
Yeah.
And I put one of the photos in a reverse image search online, and it comes back to all these like prostitution articles.
Get out of here.
In Toronto. And I was like, what the fuck? And I click on one, and her hooker name is L Sparks. And her real name is like Ada something.
Dude,
and so
you would think these people with the past they have would just shut the fuck up.
Well,
yeah.
She's telling me like my girlfriend's a worthless whore, like she's a twig bitch, like all this stuff. And I was like, this is your ass. And I'm looking and I find her like price list, right? And it's like for $180.
Get out of here.
You could have this.
You could get her butthole.
And so I just sent her a DM reply, L Sparks ? And her profile just poof, gone, like immediately gone. Changes everything. And I record the video, and I'm doing this video, and I'm in the living room talking to my girlfriend, and I was like, babe, I'm about to say to like a lot of people, for $180, anybody could fuck you. I was like, I'm about to get canceled. Like, this is gonna be the end of it, the worst video.
Well, because then you'll be told you're slut shaming. You're actually giving her an advertisement. Yeah. It's like free advertising to 600,000 people.
But to my dismay, it was one of my most popular videos this month. People were like, yeah, actually, fuck that girl. Because she opened the door. Yeah. Like, if they open the door and you respond, it's fine.
There's got to be one story, though, like just like that. There's got to be one or two other stories where you're like, I need to break this. I need to put it out there, but something's holding you back.
No, usually. So I used to be that way.
Yeah.
But now my compass is when I feel that.
Yeah.
You drop
That's when you double down.
Well, I was sitting there on the couch and I was talking to her, and my girlfriend actually said like, yeah, you probably shouldn't do that. Yeah. And I was like, oh yeah, that means I really should. Like, I really should do that. Those are always your best ones where you're like right on the fringe. As long as they fucking deserve it, if you're brutal about it, like people are gonna be like, I understand. Like I showed all the DMs with this girl talking all this shit in the world. It's like,
yeah, you do it. I mean,
talk shit, get hit. Like
you do a good job of like rehashing the story. Like you're doing a play-by-play, which is perfect.
You have to storytell. You have to tell the whole thing.
Yeah. So, but you've gone after, like I said, you've gone after a couple like big name celebrities. Like, I know some of them have chirped back.
Iggy Azalea chirped back, and then she blocked me.
Really? What happened?
It was Halloween of 2023, and she posted Iggy Azalea. She posted a photo that was super fucking cooked, like edited.
Yeah.
And I was like, all right, I'll do it, and I, did my thing.
Somebody had sent it to you.
Yeah, I don't follow. Fuck, I didn't even know. Like, I didn't even know who. Like, I don't.
I mean, if she walked in here right now, and
no offense, I don't know. Like, I don't listen to her music. I recognize her now, but so I do the video and like she's editing, blah blah blah. And mind you, this is like Halloween, Halloween night, basically. They're the day before Halloween, and then Halloween day, she posts on her story the photo unedited. Okay. Right? But it's edited in just a different way.
Yeah.
And so I did another video and broke it down as to how both of the photos weren't even like similar in any way, shape, or form, and that it was just edited and perverted in a different way.
So what did she say back?
Well, so like the reply, on the story was her like replying to me. Yeah. And then when I dropped the second video, she just blocked me. It was just, not worth it anymore. Not worth it. I was like, damn, Iggy.
So where's this go? Like you've been doing this, you've been doing a great job at it. I know that you're on everyone's radar. I know every brand is like, they're either watching out for you or they want to kind of get you on their roster.
And pay me.
Yeah. And what's next? What are you doing?
Somebody will probably kill me at some point, honestly. I don't know. Yeah. Who knows?
Well, I'll tell you what. I mean, the guy's no slouch. He could put up some weight. Give us some numbers.
225 bench, 315 squat for a half, like a half rep, and
Well,
I don't deadlift because of
that's
my
a new-
back.
That's a new rule, right? You can't don't talk to John unless you can bench press 315 for
Well,
what, 10?
My New Year's resolution is I won't argue with anybody that can bench less than 315
For 1 rep.
for 1 rep. But that just means I won't argue. You know, I'll argue with you after, but like before, I just won't even talk. Like, I won't even reply. But it's been very nice because, like, in comments sometimes I'll just reply, "How much do you bench?" And then the reply, and then I just never say anything again.
One of the things, and I'm sure there's plenty of people out there that you've hounded, who are like, you know what, he's got to have some, because I mean, what you're doing, like, you dig so deep into people's pasts.
You can't be a shitbag and do what I do.
Yeah.
You can't.
And that's
be a
the thing.
shitbag.
So like,
there's too many people out there that know too much about you. Like, if you're a
Yeah.
piece of shit, like, you wouldn't last a day. Like,
Yeah.
you have to not be a piece of shit.
well, I mean,
Otherwise, it's over.
and that's part of the reason why I think we became so close so quick, was because I think one of the first things I said to you, I was like, wait, you do all this? I was like, you know my story.
yeah.
I was like, as
The
far as
Kenny
social,
Chronicles.
as far as social media goes, or the Google goes, I mean, I'm a piece of shit, according to certain people.
Well, it's for people that don't read.
And that's
actually.
what I said. And I was like, you know, I eventually got to chat with you. And I said it to you like one of the first weeks we were hanging out. I go, you know my story. You're like, yeah, I looked into it. It's already bullshit. I'm like, oh my God.
Well,
It's amazing.
I watched the challenge
Yeah.
from the time it fucking started, basically.
Yeah.
And then I remember when all that shit broke out. And then when you had approached me at the Arnold,
Yeah.
I was like, who the fuck is this hockey player? Like, what is going on? But then when I remember, I was like, oh, no, okay, that's Kenny Santucci, I remember. And I pulled all the court documents.
Yeah.
And I was reading through it. And I was like, okay,
Which
which is exactly how I remember it to be, like, stupid.
Yeah. And which is amazing, because I still, to this day, I think like 3 days ago, I got a DM being like, you took advantage of someone, you assaulted a woman. I'm like, just shut the fuck up.
Every time I post a photo with you, I get the same DM from
Yeah.
some fucking woman that didn't read. They're like, he's sexually assaulted somebody. And I asked them the same thing. I'm like,
Yeah.
hey, I've read the entire civil case. Have
Yeah.
you?
And
And they
this
say
is where,
no.
this is where most people are fucking stupid. And I talked about this in the first episode of the podcast. I was like, eventually I'm going to have people come on who can, you know, look at it from more an intelligent point of view, not just reading headlines on Instagram articles and shit. And I was like, if somebody like this, who outs people for a living, has looked into this and has found no flaws to it, it's incredible how many people are just like, no, but you did this. I'm like, read the fucking thing. It doesn't make any fucking sense.
People decide shit. Just, you could show them every single fact in the world.
Yeah.
You'd be like, well, okay, well, this was a civil case.
Yeah.
The one against you and Evan and MTV and
Which is-
16
which
other
is-
producers and everybody. It was a civil case.
And that's where most people are stupid, because most people don't know the difference between a civil case and a criminal case. So-
You guys were dismissed from it.
Yeah.
You
And
This
people
is
are like,
a-
you should be in jail. I'm like, yeah, if I was ever brought up on criminal
The
charges.
most ridiculous part of the entire case to me was this is a show where every single second of everything that you do is on video.
Yeah.
And all of the allegations happen in common areas. And there's not a single fucking piece of footage of it ever happening.
And what kills me the most is that, one, the story alleges that she wasn't even awake for it, but somebody told her. Two, that MTV or Buna Murray or whoever was involved would destroy the footage on our behalf, as if they would.
By the way, anybody watching, go to Unicourt. Just type in Unicourt. You could read the entire fucking case for yourself. Type in MTV, Kenny Santucci. Should come right up. Download that shit and read it. You'll pay like $5 to download it, read it, and you can enrich yourself. It's really easy, actually. You'll be like, wow, this is pretty fucking stupid.
So stupid. But yeah, no, I mean, listen, and I see all the time on your page, coming back full circle, there are so many people like, I'm going to sue you. I have my team of lawyers. And there was a video you put out the other night, and I was fucking laying in bed, hysterical laughing, because you were saying, why is it that there's so many?
Every social media person has a legal team. You guys are fucking stupid. I did a video today, actually. Before I trained today, I did a video. Some guy sued me almost a year ago. It's February last year. Filed a defamation lawsuit against me because I told the truth about him. And he was so fucking dumb that he didn't even file in the right jurisdiction, and he never even served me. So like a fucking year goes by, and the judge just dismisses this yesterday.
But it's
But I did a victory lap today. I was like, "Hey, fuck you again." By the way, I'm gonna remind everybody what I said last year, and I tagged him in it, and he just, he's
it's
mad
incredible because it's so easy to sue people, and people still fuck it up.
He paid a $175 filing fee just to look like an idiot twice. Like, what the fuck is wrong with you, bro?
So he filed a defamation suit against you.
It's funny. So it's a guy named David Whitaker. He owns a company called Mon Ethos, and he puts on a bodybuilding show called the Boston Pro. Or he did it once. And after the Boston Pro, this talent agent sued him for like 30 G's because the talent agent obtained Akon, of all people, to perform at this bodybuilding show.
What?
Weird. Akon was on the headline. I was like, this is some weird shit. And said he didn't get paid. And then the hotel, I think it was the Sheraton, sued him for like 300 G's because they said they didn't get paid. And so I covered a video, and I was like, yo, bro, like, you're making my industry look bad.
Yeah.
Like, who the fuck are you? What is going on? And then in the back half of the video, I showed how this guy, David Whitaker, was in the early, maybe 2010s. He served 70 months. So he was convicted for 70 months for federal wire fraud.
Holy shit.
And then he got out early because the FBI used him in the case against Google, for like a fraud case against Google. He was so good at fraud that the FBI used his talents and gave him a fucking break. So he was not only a snitch, but a fucking con man, and good at it too.
Yeah.
And if you look this guy up on court.com, you can find so many people trying to drag this motherfucker into court. So many people.
And that's your real resource tool, right? Like these
tons, man. Binverified.com is a really great background check resource. Google itself, if you know how to use and sort of filter searches and stuff. Unicourt, Pacer. It's like you just fucking Google enough and you'll find shit. Like, then you just have to remember like where the fuck everything is and where to go. It's not that hard, honestly.
This isn't the only aspect of you. I think a lot of people look at you and they're like, oh, okay, so this guy just trolls people. How's he make his cash? And you're actually a really good bodybuilding coach.
Yeah, we don't need to talk about that though. Nobody cares about that.
I think people do, because I think you're so embedded in that community. I think a lot of people know who you are in that community. And that's kind of where it all stemmed from. And what I really liked was that you were cleaning up that world, right? There's so many charlatans out there.
That's where I make all my money. And it's like, damn, you tell back, I don't know, 2016, 17, 18, right, when I was getting started, it's like you tell somebody like, I'm an online trainer. Well, and they're like, that's a fucking joke of a job.
Yeah.
But now people understand, like, you can make serious money doing it, and it has some credibility to it.
But here's the thing, and this is what annoys the shit out of me. It's like before COVID, there were trainers who would like create online programs. Now, during COVID, because everybody was looking to make a buck, I mean, even fucking huge celebrities are now getting into the fitness game, creating apps, workout programs, whatever it is. I mean, you got fucking Chris Hemsworth hawking shit now. And
well, as soon as everybody looked at the numbers and you're like, damn, you have 30,000 followers, you have to convince 100 of them to pay you $200 a month, and you're making 240 grand a year.
Yeah.
They're like, damn.
I could do that.
That's not that many.
But so now what I loved that you were doing is that you start to clean it up a little bit, because now you're like, hey, this fucking person doesn't look like this. They have no real background in this.
Yeah, well, people turn what I love and what I make my money in into a fucking clown show.
Yeah.
So you have to clown them. Like, get the fuck out of here.
But I was just talking about this with this company, Athletech. So we're talking to them about doing something at Strong New York and like working with them, because they report on the business side of the fitness industry. And one of the things that he had said when we were at the NASDAQ, the owner of the company, was, he goes, most people look at the fitness industry like it's like a second class industry.
Yeah.
Only because the barrier of entry to get in is so low, but people can make a lot of money in it. And there's no rules and regulations to it. You got a bunch of people out there who just
think of attorneys. There's an ethics board.
Yeah.
If you're a doctor, there's an ethics board. If you're a fucking fitness coach, you can literally scam, steal, fuck people over, fuck your clients, whatever you really want to do. And like, who's out there? Only me now. But like, is that really enough? No.
But that's not really some governing board to make sure people do shit right.
They're like, damn, all I have to worry about is this one fucking guy on the internet.
I just got to watch out for the fucking Goob, and then I could do all the fucked up shit I want. But I mean, listen, hit up 1,800 people.
I love that.
I
May
mean,
be an exaggeration. I think I've done like 1,800 videos, but sometimes you get a hat trick.
Yeah,
3 videos in.
and
Sometimes you get a golden sombrero.
Yeah.
4 videos in a row. You know,
Yeah.
every once in a while.
and I've seen you relentless. I mean, who have you had them? Because I know you get pure joy out of this. Who is somebody that you've fucking really gone after, and you're just like, I'm just having a good time with this at this point? Because it wasn't even about figuring out the situation.
Paige Hathaway.
Paige Hathaway.
Paige Hathaway was
big
the
name.
best.
That's a big name.
That
in
was the
fitness
best
industry.
because she got so mad about it, but
Yeah.
like pretended to not be mad. So I did the video. She had.
I remember you showing me some of the exchanges that were going.
She was at like fucking F1 or something or some race, and so she posts on her story. She's like advertising for some sort of body suit. She's like body contouring bodysuit, and she posts 2. You know how stories work on Instagram? Like you click through.
Yeah.
So she posts 2 slides back to back, and she accidentally posted the unedited one and the edited one, and just carried a new caption over. So like, all of my work was done, right? She posted shit. I didn't even have to do anything. I was like screenshot.
I was gonna say you screenshot it.
And I posted up and I was like, Paige, like, come on, Paige. You got called out for this like 10 years ago. Like, we still doing this shit?
Yeah.
And the video was running like crazy, like fucking crazy. And I go to your gym actually to go train.
Yeah.
And I pick up my phone and there were fucking 6 missed like Instagram calls from Paige Hathaway. And I was like, what the fuck? And I was like, I'll just let her go. And just let it keep going. So I put my shit down and I go and I do a couple more sets and I come back to it and I got a message on there. I don't remember exactly what it said, but it said something like, oops, didn't mean to dial you. And I was like, the fuck you did? Like, I just accidentally called some random guy I've never talked to 8 times.
Yeah.
And I sent her a message and I was like, Paige, I'm training, leave me alone or something like that. And then she hits me back and she's like, oh, like, you know, if you could take the video down, like, ha ha ha. And I was like, nah.
Well, she was a part of that, like what I would think was probably the original fitness.
Well, let me tell you another Paige Hathaway.
Oh shit.
So I do this fun thing every year. So I did probably 5 or 6 Paige Hathaway videos because I just kept going. I wasn't stopping.
You love trolling.
I was on a roll and I just kept going. It's because I got such a reaction out of her. Like, you're calling me? Like, this is funny. Like, don't call me. I was like, I'm training. I'm busy, lady. And so I did a couple, like I probably did 5 or 6 of them. And so every year at the end of the year, I offer clemency to the shitfluencers, I call them, right?
At the Goobies.
No.
Oh.
No, this is Christmas. It's like Christmas Day or the day before Christmas. And I put it up and I'm like, hey guys, listen, St. Jude or Womankind, my 2 favorite organizations, send $500 to either organization and I'll remove one of your videos. And Paige Hathaway paid handsomely this year. But I don't tell them which ones I'm going to remove.
Really?
She sends me receipts for like $1,500 or something that she sent to like Womankind and St. Jude.
Wow, that's amazing.
I go and
that's
I remove.
That's a really fucking cool thing.
But I remove the ones with the least views. There's one that's like at 5 million or something. I was like, nah, I'm leaving that shit up there.
What video has gotten the most
views?
Views, yeah.
I have no idea. Honestly, I have no idea. Not that many. Like, I don't know. Some people were in
you got a couple million.
But like million doesn't mean anything. You know, like there's random accounts that have like fucking 20,000 followers that have like a 10 million view video. It's about consistency.
Yeah.
For me, it's like, it's like if I have, to say if you have 10,000 followers and your video is getting 10,000 to 20,000 views, like you're in great shape.
Yeah.
I don't care about like how many millions. It's like, how am I in proportion to how many people I have? And if it's always been more than what I have, then you're growing. And that's all I care about. If I dropped a video and I have 500,000 followers and I'm getting 100,000 views, I'm not doing something right. That means like most of your audience isn't even fucking paying attention to you anymore. So that's all I care about.
So I know you break my balls all the time about jujitsu, and I have a question for you.
Uh-oh.
What is more homoerotic, jujitsu or bodybuilding shows?
Oh, bodybuilding shows are definitely super homoerotic, honestly. You know, there's really no touching of men, but like, you know, we're pretty oiled up.
It gets.
Are there women in jiu-jitsu? I don't know this. I don't know anything.
Yeah, there's a lot of.
I was gonna say at least there's like women in bodybuilding. I don't know.
No, there's women in jiu-jitsu. It's actually more than ever before. It's a growing sport amongst women.
I mean, I fucking love
the bodybuilding world is so fucking weird though. You know, every time I think about it, like, obviously I've been getting my balls broke since I was in high school about wrestling and stuff, and everybody's like, "Oh, that's weird," but I'm like, most people. There are so many people. Oh, watch out, the Coke.
That's empty.
The bodybuilding world is growing so fast.
Well, like, it used to be like a fringe sport.
Yes.
And then you got guys like Chris Bumstead that make it super
Unbelievable.
mainstream now.
Yeah.
It's like, it's the natural progression of the internet, I guess.
Yeah, but what do you attribute that to? Is it like, because obviously, I mean, there was Arnold. There's so many people who came along.
Two things:
What?
classic physique and men's physique. It used to be in bodybuilding, if you want to compete, you got to put on the fucking Speedo, and that's it.
Yeah.
It's only one, the class for men, men's open bodybuilding.
Mhm.
But then they brought in men's physique, which is the board shorts.
Okay.
The
Which are terrible.
Yeah.
Who the fuck wears long board shorts anymore?
I mean, people
What a shit.
love that though. It's a comfortable class to get into. You don't have to be crazy out of your mind on a bunch of drugs. You don't have to have big legs to do it. It's easy. The barrier for entry is extremely low compared to being a massive open bodybuilder. And then classic physique is kind of the midpoint between that and open bodybuilder.
Mhm.
Those two things, and they
I like the classic physique.
bikini. They added bikini, and they added wellness recently, and those things just blew the sport apart.
What about this new one?
Oh, men's wellness. That's so
Men's
stupid.
wellness.
People went crazy about that. It was all over.
I heard Katie's going to enter the men's wellness.
Do you know who Alex Eubank is?
Yeah.
So
I know of him. I don't know.
I was up at like 6 a.m. the day after that came out, and I call this fucking poor guy at 6 a.m. because
Is he the one who created it?
no, he looks like the guy.
Oh.
I called him and I was like, "Hey, Alex, like I'm seeing you on my page all day," and he's like, "Fuck you, bro!" Like everybody sent that to me. You got a picture that thing on here.
I just keep seeing pictures of it. Obviously, it's on every page.
It's stupid because it's one.
How does a guy get a body like that?
It's one small division. It's one division. Like that. That's not the
Brazil,
NPC. Though. It's some small division in like Ecuador or somewhere, and they made one class, and they're like, "We'll do this," and everybody's like, "The death of bodybuilding! How dare they!" Like, come on, man.
Well, I'm guessing because I keep seeing pictures of this guy from the front, and I'm like, he probably looks pretty good from the back. He's got this tiny little waist.
My man poses better than most of the wellness girls.
Yeah, he looks good.
He's kind of a savage.
It's sad to say. I think he's doing it better than the ladies. Ladies, you got some competition.
Yeah.
Men's wellness
is
going to be the hottest ticket this year
He's a
at the Arnold.
I couldn't open my fucking phone though the entire day without seeing that shit at the top.
Me too. It's on everybody's page. But I think bodybuilding is a growing sport for women too. But the only problem I have with it is I think it fucks people up, or mostly women, more than it, than it helps them. Right? Like I have a couple friends who've done a couple bodybuilding shows, and they'll do either bikini or whatever it is, but because their diet and stuff fluctuates so much, I think it kind of screws up with their hormones. I mean, you probably know better.
Person dependent. To some people, it gives them an incredible sense of control, and they thrive, and that's how they live the rest of their life. Where they're like, I can do this. I can control how I look. I can control my body weight. I learn the ways, and that's really cool. And then some people, they're in it for all the wrong reasons.
Yeah.
And they're like binge eating and purging and doing all this crazy shit and comparing themselves to everybody else. It's like at the core of it, like it's bodybuilding. It's like building yourself to go. And, okay, the stage is 6 minutes, but the other 365 days and however many hours, like
the mindset.
It's you trying to be the better self, you know what I mean? But some people are like, well, the only thing is the stage. Like, no, the stage is really the smallest part of this whole transaction.
Yeah, no, I have some friends who are like, after they did one show and they did really well, two people I can think of off the top of my head, they just like blew up after that and they had trouble coming back down. Like, do you know why that happened? I mean, is it just, do you think it's
well,
like
they probably stopped doing the things that they were doing when they were doing the show, huh?
Well, and that's why I kind of deter some people who ask me, they're like, oh, should I do bodybuilding? I'm like, listen, you'll get down, you'll look good, but then you'll be chasing that forever.
It's all about, like, do you actually enjoy it? And do you like it for the right reasons?
Yeah.
Social media, like we were talking about, it blew bodybuilding up, but it also brought a ton of people in that were, if this, didn't exist, they wouldn't want to be bodybuilding.
Yeah.
If they couldn't post about it and catalog it and track it and day in the life and here's what I ate today and train with me at the gym, they wouldn't do that shit because they don't fucking like it.
Yeah.
They don't like it.
No,
but the ones that do the best, they would show up no matter what.
Yeah.
Just because they're really interested in just being their best self. And the people you were talking about were like, the show's over and they blew up. It's like, wow, the pressure of the show was the only thing keeping you in check. You don't love it.
Yeah.
And you should stop.
I feel the same way about like trainers and stuff, like I remember telling people when I first became a trainer, I'm like, oh, I'm a trainer. And I'd be out somewhere and talking to, whoever. And they're like, it's not even a real job. And I'm like, yeah, it is. That's how I make my money. Even my parents, when I first told my parents, I was like, oh, I want to be a trainer. They're like, yeah, but there's no money in training. And now here we are, fast forward 15 years later, and it's probably one of the biggest, fastest growing.
I know what you're talking about,
industry.
bro. I'm broke. So,
But
honestly.
I've seen this guy with multiple watches on that probably cost more than my apartment.
All
a
fake.
year. Well, listen, I don't want to eat up too much of your time. This was amazing. I'm lucky enough that I get to hang out with him at least twice a week when he decides to come to the gym and stop getting fat. But aside from this meeting, we're going to eventually make our way to Turkey together. That's going to be
We're gonna
our
get
next
our
trip together.
our hairlines fixed, guys.
Yeah.
I got DMs the other day from a random Turkish hairline place, and they're like, just randomly sent me the DM. I was like, damn, fuck you guys, but like, also how much?
Yeah.
Yeah, how much?
I've literally had this discussion with every group of guys that I hang out with. I'm like, what do you think of taking a trip to Turkey? Because I saw Bumstead did it.
Yeah,
he
him
went,
and Ian.
And then I saw there was another celebrity who just went. And then I was with a guy at a party on Friday night. And I was like, dude, your hair looks great. He's like, yeah, I had it done like 3 years ago. I was like, fuck.
It's
man.
the BBL for men.
It is the
honestly, it's
yeah.
the male BBL.
Yeah.
I'm a little ashamed. I wouldn't tell anybody, but I said I have to.
Yeah. Well, eventually people are going to see it. I feel bad because the pressure for women, it's like on their face, on their ass, on their boobs. For guys, it's just like, I just need my hairline back.
To be honest, I don't really give a fuck though.
Really?
I never even considered it until they sent me that, and I was like, for free, I might go. Like they were, that was the deal. Was they were like, we want to do it for promo,
Yeah.
and I was like, all right, well, I got to look like a jerk off online and be like, hey guys, I'm in Turkey. Here's my hairline.
Maybe we'll get a 2-for-1 deal. I mean, for what I see that these people are like, the way they're getting treated when they get over there. They're getting like a limousine ride there. They shave your head. They feed you breakfast.
You know what's weird is that's like, I see that all of the posts about it are like, arrived and here's my driver. I'm like, this is kind of fucking strange. Like, I don't really know what's going on here. Do I want to be a part of this? I don't know.
But everybody who's like, oh, I'm going to Turkey and it's going to cost me 10 grand. I'm like, I just found out that there's some guy right here on Park Avenue who will do it for 10 grand. I'm like, why the fuck am I going to go all the way to Turkey? I'd rather just go down the block.
There's my friend, he's getting it done in March, and he was telling me about it because I asked him the same question. I was like, what is with this pricing? And it's like the number of grafts or something. I don't know. The 10,000 in America only goes so far and whatever. I'll be bald, honestly.
What I heard, and this is what I heard from somebody, I can't expose it where I heard it.
Say it.
Heard it from.
Say it. Say the name.
Bradley Cooper has gotten it done 3 times. They do 5,000 follicles at a time. And it's this doctor that I guess he got it done in like California or something. It was 60 grand per 5,000 follicles.
I don't know.
So 4 times, 60 grand a pop. But his hair looks phenomenal. I mean, Bradley Cooper has got a fucking...
That's $250,000 though. Like I don't give $250,000 worth of shit about really anything.
I think my hair is worth $250,000.
No, I don't give a fuck.
I used to tell people my best asset, aside from my eyes, my charming personality, my great physique, is my hair. And I'm losing the last one because I feel like it's slowly creeping back.
It's called hard mode though. It's like if you have a fucking receding hairline and you're short and you're bald, like you really gotta come with it somewhere else.
Well, yeah, then I gotta fucking just start juicing like crazy. Actually, that's what I wanted to really bring up with you. Because I started doing TRT a year and a half ago.
Now, is that actual TRT or is that like I'm doing steroids, but I want to say TRT to be socially acceptable?
Well, no. I mean,
to a doctor?
We talk. You know who I go to.
They don't know.
Oh, okay.
They don't know.
I go to a doctor because I have a cyst on my pituitary gland. I cannot make testosterone or HGH.
These are excuses, by the way.
So I waited 6 months. I finally get the balls to start taking TRT. And I start feeling better, like my mood changes. This myth that steroids or whatever you want to call it, TRT, I mean, categorize it however you will, put you in the worst mood. My mood is way better, right? I actually came off it for like 2 weeks and I was in the worst mood. I was so fucking nasty to everybody. I was such a piece of shit and I hated the way I was. I'm like, fuck this. I'm going back on and I'm going to keep doing it. A lot of people online are like, you're all peptided up and blah, blah, blah. And I said, and eventually I'm going to have my doctor on here who's going to tell everybody why I can't do peptides. Because if I do peptides or HGH or anything, it'll grow the cyst.
Yeah.
So I can't do any of that shit. But if I could, I would. So if I start losing my hair, then I'm just going to speed up the process of me dying, and I'm just going to get gassed out of my fucking brain.
This was a long roundabout way to say you can't bench 315.
But there are a lot of people out there who now have been using it more than ever before. I think TRT.
Well, it's cool now. It's like
Yeah.
back when I got into bodybuilding, it was like if you wanted to use steroids, you found some fucking dude at your gym. They would probably rip you the fuck off.
You get it from some fucking
Yeah,
Guido.
I remember the first fucking person because I was trying to get into competing, and the first person I tried to buy steroids from, he
was definitely an Italian guy.
gave the dude cash, and I never saw him ever again at the gym. Like literally never ever saw him ever again. I was like, what the fuck just happened? So I bought him from this guy named Robbie, who he worked as a.
Did he have any tribal tattoos?
He had I'm not even making this up. He had a giant spider tattooed on the back of his head.
That's awesome.
And he would come in his work overalls and like skull fuck 315. Like it was just a joke. He was the strongest dude ever to me at the time. Like he was just.
Where was this? Were you in West Virginia?
Yeah. Insanely strong. And I was like, hey,
I don't even think they'll give you a spider tattoo on the back of your head anywhere in the Northeast.
I hope not. He was a scary man, but like if you talk to him, you're like, damn, that guy's nice. Like I remember I was at the gym once. It was snowing, all fucked up. Dude was a lineman, outdoor something worker, like, grunt worker, like, and he had this big truck that was all like decked out, and I had a little fucking Mazda Miata bullshit car that wouldn't go anywhere, and I'm like trapped at the fucking gym. The girl I was dating at the time calls me while I'm working out, and she's like, I wrecked my car, I don't know what to do. And his name is Rob. I called him Big Rob. And I was having this phone call, and he overhears it because he's working out next to me, and he's like, do you need help? And I was like, yeah, I think. And he's like, let's go. And I've never like hung out with this guy ever, like anything. And then he's like, let's get in the car. And he like just drives me through the snow to go pick up and get the car out of the way and like tows it off. I was like, dude, you're the man.
I think there's such a stigma against different like meatheads in the gym. Like you see some jacked up meathead idiot, and you're like, oh, this guy's probably the nasty, tough dude.
No, they're always nice.
I always feel like they're some of the nice. They're like
confident
gentle
place. Yeah, that's their confident place.
I think a lot of them start taking shit because they're uncomfortable.
Yeah.
Right? It's like guys, like it's another form of BBLs for guys. It's like, oh, I'm uncomfortable in my own skin. This will give me some confidence.
I mean, I have only ever had great interactions by like when I was like the small dude in the gym. It was like, ask like the biggest dude to spot you, and they'll like give you advice and shit. Yeah. It's always like the ones that are scrappy and like uncomfortable and like insecure, that are small, that are like, fuck you, that type of shit.
One of the questions I got asked recently I was in Big Outlet. I forget what it was. Do you remember? Somebody asked me, they were like, how could you, was it bodybuilding.com that people feel uncomfortable walking into a gym? But I go, most people in gyms are more welcoming than if you go to a bar or somewhere else in a social setting. Yeah. I think so. The fear of like going to a gym and being afraid of walking in there, it's like most of the time people want you to come in. I make
all my friends in there. I've been in a bar in like probably 20, 15 years. Like I think all my friends come from the gym, to be honest.
Yeah. With you. I don't think I have any friends outside the gym. I mean, from, I guess, the city. Yeah. Most of my friends are like,
I'm glad we talked. I forgot about Spider Rob. I got to look him up. We're Facebook friends for sure.
I'm sure if anybody could find him on Instagram.
We're Facebook friends for sure. I just got to I got to type it in and figure it out and see what he's up to. He's a good guy.
Yeah. Well, listen, hopefully we'll have you on again soon, because you're a pleasure to talk to and a great buddy. And even though there are people out there who can't stand John because he probably threw you under the bus, he's only doing the work of the Lord. You put yourself in that position, and he's going to make sure you come to justice. John Dorsey, thank you so much for coming. Guys, check him out at Goob.
Don't do that.
Okay.
Just remember.
I won't do that.
If the truth can destroy it, it should.
One more time for everybody. John, thank you so much for coming by. Guys, thank you for watching, and we'll see you on the next episode.